Come on in. Well, there's somebody way down in the noise. I'm gonna need a relay on that. If there's a relay, go ahead. Hello, relay. Kilo 7 X-ray Mike Delta here. They calling in with a Whiskey Lima 7 uniform pop-up. Alrighty, Matt, can you snag first name at GTH? It's a double. Alrighty, Steve. Hey, Matt, the Whiskey Lima 7 uniform papa, could you get a QTH and a first name, please? Whiskey Lima 7 uniform papa, this is Kilo 7 X-ray Mike Delta. Can I get a name and where you're located at, please? Roger that, Chuck. Glad you joined us here tonight. Yeah, we're every Sunday night on 10 meters here with the LPRAC. Pause for a second here. Let me pass this on to the net controller tonight there. Paul, Kilo 7 RKO. You, let's see, this is a Whiskey Lima 7 uniform papa. His name's Chuck. He's coming out of Alaska. So, I forgot what county said he was near, but he was checking the propagation report and he's here listening. Uniform papa. Anybody else on the net would like to have a QSO with you? I'm gonna step aside, sit down here, and let anybody else like to hook up with you. Go ahead. Over. Go ahead, Rudy. Very good, sir. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we have a regular Thunderbird Net every Sunday night at this time at $1,900 Pacific. So you're welcome to join us, and our net control operator is Kilo 7 Romeo Kilo Oscar Paul, and I'm going to turn this back to net control. K7RAW back to net. K7RW, K7RKO. Sitting on the side, anybody else would like to take a crack at a QSO with Chuck? Go ahead. I've got a 100% copy on you, 100% copy, and I used that at first jumpers while I was in the Navy. I spent 3 years on Toriid Island, and so for R&R we went to Anchorage, Alaska. So that's kind of took my interest right in Alaska then. So thank you so much for coming back to me. This is KJ7 PAQ. I'm going to turn it back to Net Control. K7RKO, go ahead. KJ7PAQ, K7RKO. Thanks, Ron. Yeah, I'm sure that has stirred up some frosty memories for you. Chuck, you came up a little bit, so I got a copy on you now. Thanks for joining us. Anybody else like to hook up with Chuck in Alaska? Go ahead. Kilo Charlie Zero, November Mike Zulu, K7 RKO. Anybody else like to say hello to Chuck this evening? Go ahead. Roger that, sounds good. That's what I wanted to hear from you. Good signal report. You've got me doing a bunch of maintenance on my antenna. I got the boom swung around, pointed up that way to Alaska, and hopefully I'm not nice first up there. But anyway, it happened to make a 2-week DUI at Charlston Air Force Base back in about February of '83. It was chilly, but we made the planes fly and had a good time, as we usually do. I don't know how close you are to that. I haven't been up there a lot, but it does sound like an entertaining place. Just make contact with you. You have a real good evening. This is K7XMD 73. Good talking to you there, Chuck. 7-3. Roger that. K7 RKO. Looks like Chuck is checked out there, and that's you, Paul, to continue with the net. Kilo 7 X-ray Mike Delta. Congrats on tossing a 5-9 up into Alaska tonight, Matt. That's terrific. Way to go. It's Kilo 7, Romeo Kilo. On the Thunderbird Net tonight, we're kind of hanging out together in Vegas, and if anybody else would like to join us, come on in. All right, we'll keep rolling along here. David, you're sounding great tonight. I'm not sure what you've been doing, maybe playing with the mic gain and the compression. Don't know, but you're sounding sweet tonight. K7FAN, this is K7RKO. Come on in.
glad you're post-burrito action and feeling better. You're sounding great, David, so appreciate your spending some time with us on the net tonight. Congratulations, and great signal and good recovery from that bad burrito. K7FAN, that's Kilo 7, Romeo Kilo Oscar. Welcoming in the only guy in Vegas that can melt icebergs in Alaska. A notable achievement. Kilo 7 X-ray Mike Delta, K7 RKO. Come on in, Matt.
Roger that, Paul. K7XMD here. Easy everyone on the net. I was just kind of stretching that a little bit, you know, put a little punch on the chuckle and a little bit of a laugh there on the net tonight. But anyway, glad to get a 5.9 from Chuck out of Alaska. I've been doing a bit of maintenance on my the antenna and the tower, and so it's always good when you can get out and start getting the signal reports coming in. You know, you do work on things and you test them, and it's like, yep, everything ought to be running, but the real meat and potatoes is when you turn it on and see who you can talk to and what you get for a return signal report from them. Then you know you're back up and running and ready to jump on the ham radio bandwagon and have some fun again. So that's what it is for me today. Radio is back up and running here in the shop, and made a few contacts here with people, and so I'm back on the air. Going to be going camping with hopefully Dave and company this next weekend up there at Gunlock Reservoir. I hope that doesn't fall through. I'm looking forward to it. But other than that, it's kind of unusual, punching around the house, enjoying a cocktail with happy hour, and listening to the radio bit now with it's back up and running. Back to you, Paul. This is K7XMD.
K7XMD, K7RKO. Matt, what days are you planning on being up at Gunlock? Over?
Schedule right now is Friday the 27th through October 1st. We'll be coming back home. So got the reservations on a camp spot there, and looking forward to going up there. The weather report looks really good. I know the weather here is looking rather good. You know, nice and sunny days, severe clear. Looks like mild winds, and it's carrying over up there with daytime highs. Looks like in the low 90s or maybe the upper 80s. And so ought to be prime camping weather. So back to you, Paul.
Yeah, it's well, I'm going to be up there, up outside St. George, a little bit before you, so I'll do what I can to stir up a little propagation for you, so you have a good time when you're up there, and hope you have a terrific time. Kilo 7 X-ray Mike Delta, this is Kilo 7, Romeo Kilo Oscar. Moving on to Al, K7OSW. Al, how's it going? Kilo 7 order some whiskey, which I did, and it's been served, and it's here. This Kilo 7 Romeo Kilo Oscar. Well, the ham stick is sounding great, Al. No, not the strongest signal on the net tonight, but good clean copy on you. Nice, crisp, intelligible high end, and well, I'll step aside, and you can listen for some other signal reports from the guys on the net tonight. Over. K7RKO, any signal reports for Al? Come on in. Thanks, Ron. Any Any other signal reports for Al this evening? Come on in. Already had a double there. No copy at all from Joe and Chris. Was that an S9 you were throwing down there? Over. KC0NMC, K7RKO. Thanks, Chris. Any other signal reports for Al this evening? Come on in.
Kilo Julie 7 Alpha Mike Uniform. Hear nothing when K7OSW is on the air. It's like a block wall for anything coming from the northwest. I think that's where it's at. Connect control.
KJ7AMU, K7RKO. Alrighty, thank you, Mark. Rudy, did I hear you in there? Go ahead. Terrific, thank you. Any other signal reports for Al? Come on in. This is K7EMU. I can see email from you. Very weak. I'm at John. Alrighty, Steve, thank you very much. Al, you got those signal reports? Over. K7OSW, cooking with the 706. This is Kilo 7, Romeo Kilo Oscar, cooking on the Thunderbird Net this evening. Ron, KJ7PAQ, how's it going tonight?
My wife went in and we got vaccinated for yearly flu shot and also pneumonia shot, pneumonia vaccination. And it kind of wiped us out some ways. We both really were extremely tired the last couple days. It's coming out of it now, feeling pretty good. And let's see what else. I've been working on a problem with trying to get CW working here, what they call semi-break-in. And for some reason, the amplifier doesn't like semi-break-in, and every time I hit the key, the amplifier kicks off. And so I tested with NO7CS, and he was telling me that the ICOM 7300 is kind of famous for generating an overshoot when you hit the key. And that overshoot gets into that amplifier, and the amplifier kicks off with an error message saying overdrive. So we're playing around with that. I don't know if I'm going to get that taken care of or not. But so that's one thing that's keeping me busy. And the other thing is I found an article on how to measure your antenna Q. So I went through that and went through the process of checking that out on my portable antenna that I'm sitting on right now. And I got a Q of 5.1, which is pretty low. And that kind of makes sense because the SWR is very, very broad. I can choose practically the entire 10-meter band with a fairly low SWR, so that was kind of neat. That was kind of fun doing that. What else? Like everyone else, that propagation lately has been really excellent. One unit is open almost like 24 hours a day. 10 is open during the day, not so much at night. Which is kind of what you expect. And lots of signals coming in. Really great propagation lately. The magnetic field of the Earth is very stable, and that means very low noise level, and propagation is doing really, really good. So, and also, really, I was reading up about that radio that you bought, and it seems like they have several different models. And I think one of the models actually goes up to 40 watts. And so if I was interested, I'd be going for that one. So anyways, that's about it for me, Paul. This is KJ7PAQ, back to net control.
KJ7PAQ, K7RKO. Ron, great to hear that you and your wife have bounced back from your vaccinations in great shape. Sounding terrific tonight. Good solid S9 here on the Thunderbird Net. Any interest
but every time I check my list, it's always the same thing. Oh crap, I already worked that country. I'm trying to find some new countries, but it gets something. Well, I'm up to 162 countries. Not all of them are confirmed, but 162, and I'm looking for something new, so, I keep my eyes open for the expedition, stuff like that. Or some country I've never heard of before, and, so I haven't been able to put anything at the wall other than working through the hunting quota state, trying to get worked off the quota, and I still got a few states to go, so that's kind of fun too, running the quota. This is CJ7, back to next control.
Alrighty, Ron. Now, as the bad conditions start to perk back up and percolate a little bit better than they have been, any action that you've noticed from Africa and the Middle East? Over?
Well, I see Africa coming in once in a while. Sometimes you're amazingly strong in South Africa. But I've already worked South Africa, so I don't bother calling him. And the Mideast is really, really difficult. For whatever, I don't understand what it is. Maybe it's just the politics there don't allow very many radio stations. I don't know what it is. About the only Mideast I ever got was Israel. Had a few contact with Israel. And that's about it for me for Mideast. Back to that.
Alrighty, Ron. Well, thanks very much. Have a terrific evening. Thanks for joining us. KJ7PAQ. This is Kilo 7, Romeo Kilo Oscar. We're hanging out on the Thunderbird Net this evening. If you're sitting on the side and would like to join us, we'd love to have you check in, so come on in. Nothing heard. Moving on to Chris. Kilo Charlie 0, November Mike Zulu. How's it going, Chris? Alrighty, Chris. Wow, FM repeater banging in big time from London, Ontario. That's terrific. Now, did you have an opportunity to take a shot at hitting that repeater? Over? Alrighty. Mark, Kilo Juliet 7, Alpha Mike Uniform. Thank you for patiently holding on this evening. Good to get to you. How's it going?
Going good, Paul. Yeah, I'm hanging here. That repeater up in Ontario, Canada, that's the E3MMX. I made contact with that repeater back in the last May, and when it comes in, it really comes in strong and good. It doesn't take a whole lot to hit it. As far as propagation goes and stuff, this weekend was pretty good. No matter what I tuned the radio to, it seems like I could hear somebody. Yesterday, I turned the radio on, and out 20 meters, it was pretty busy. I got one signal that was real good, and it was W3BN in Reading, Pennsylvania, especially Vent Station, 100th anniversary of the Reading Railroad. I learned a little lesson with it, too. It's not the Reading Railroad, it's the Reading Railroad, and all the years of playing Monopoly, I always called it the Reading Railroad, so I got a lesson, too. Propagation's good, and it makes me feel good to see propagation coming back up because I was getting a little discouraged there for a while, but now it's really coming back. Take it back to you. Wait a second there, Paul. I got one other thing. That website for that radio that Rudy's talking about, that's hfsignals.com, Hotel Foxtrot Signals.com. And everything you want to know about that radio is on their home page. That's about all I got. K7RKO, KJ7AMU, back to net control.
Alrighty, Mark. Well, congratulations on the Whiskey 3 Bravo November special event station, the Reading Railroad. Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of, first thing that came to mind when you mentioned the Reading Railroad. What's the card say in the Monopoly game? Take a ride on the Reading, and if you pass go, collect $200. So that's terrific. Mark, what antenna are you using tonight? Over?
Oh, wow. I left the switch on my end-fed half wave, and I usually talking on my radio. Let me throw the switch here, 1 second. So you can tell me there, get a transmission report there. Is that any better? Over?
Well, both of them are just fine. No problems on copy on either signal, but sounds like the Ringo is doing a little bit better. Over.
Yeah, when we were listening to the fellow up in Alaska, I swapped over to the infed half wave, and he has a great signal coming in. But usually on the Ringo on our net here locally. Back to net control.
Alrighty, Mark. Well, thank you very much for your patience holding on this evening. Sure appreciate your joining us, and hope you have a great week ahead. That's K7RKO with KJ7AMU on Thunderbird Net this evening. Anybody else want to check in this evening that has not had an opportunity to do so? Please come now. Alrighty, Joe, KE70PK reporting on a big-time signal from KJ7AMU. Great to hear. Any other comments from anybody else that's on the net tonight? Come on in. Go ahead, David. Kilo 7 FAM, K7RKO. Yeah, David, I heard the same thing, and little bit of a mystery. I'm in no position to know anything about that. Steve, K7EAU, you ever hear anything about what was happening with that? Over.
No, I haven't. It's just as much of a mystery to me. I heard a couple of people talking about that, but either at our regular meetings or our board meetings, that was never ever mentioned that I can recall. And I'm sorry I missed the last monthly meeting, so I don't know. Maybe Ron, was there any? If you were there, was there any talk about that? Negative, Steve. Nobody mentioned that at all. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have our board meeting. I'll certainly bring that up when we have our next board meeting, the first Wednesday of the month. Back to you, Paul. Kilo 7, EAU K7RKO. Dave, K7FAN, you were not experiencing bad burrito hallucinations. I heard that as well, and I was curious about it. Unfortunately, old noggin being what it is, I didn't remember to bring it up at the general meeting on Wednesday night, but we'll see what we can learn about it. You're not the only guy that heard that. Over.
Alrighty, Dave. Great to hear that you're feeling better. Thanks again for joining us this evening. K7FAN, K7RKO. Anybody else with any comments for the Thunderbird Net this evening? Come on in. Alrighty, I heard an ISL on the long wire. Could I get your call sign, please?
You bet. Kilo Alpha 7 India Sierra Lima K7 Einster Radio.
Kilo Alpha 7 India Sierra Lima K7 RKO. Thanks for joining us this evening. Could I get your name and your QTH, please?
Yeah, we're up here by Railroad Pass in the Horsey Street, and tonight I'm running one of my old long wires that I've had up for over 30 years. I got it running, and I was just going to check and see how it sounded against my modified vertical. Over.
Alrighty, Steve. Sorry I didn't make the connection here. Kilo Alpha 7 India Sierra Lima Kilo 7 Romeo Kilo Oscar. Yeah, we'll sit back and let the guys give you some signal reports on the long wire that you've got fired up at Railroad Pass this evening. Over.
Yeah, very good. I've got a lot of noise tonight, but I brought it back online in the middle of the week and worked Canada and down into South America and all the way to Japan and then to the East Coast. So it's back to doing what I used to do. Over.
Alrighty, well that's not a bad thing at all. Steve K7EAU, do you have copy on Steve KA7 India Sierra Lima? Over.
Yeah, this is K7EAU. Not real strong, but perfect copy. I have no noise level at all tonight, so I can hear everyone very well. So, Steve, you're coming in very good there. I don't know if you said you had another antenna you want to try out. I'm not sure you can hear me, but I thought, Paul, you said you had two antennas. You wanted to try both of them out to see if they're any different.
Alrighty, thank you, Steve. K7EAU, K7, or Kilo Alpha 7, India Sierra Lima. Steve, along with the long wire, is there another antenna you'd like to try out tonight? Over.
Yeah, I'll go back to my modified vertical. Give me a few minutes and I'll have it changed out.
Alrighty, before you go back to the modified vertical, I'm wondering if, Matt, K7XMD could take a break from melting icebergs up in Alaska to let you know how he's got copy on you. Matt, K7XMD, you got copy on Kilo Alpha 7 India Sierra Lima? Over.
I hear you talking to someone, but they're way down in the weeds. I'm barely picking them up over here. Of course, I'm on my beam antenna, and it's horizontally polarized, so it's not unusual here. But I'm not really, I can hear someone way out there, but I'm not understanding what they're saying. Back to you, Paul.
Alrighty, Matt, thank you. K7XMD, K7RKO. Anybody else on the Thunderbird Net that's got copy on Steve tonight? Come on in. Alrighty, thank you, Ron. Any other reports for Steve this evening? Go ahead, Chris. KC0NMZK7RKO. Thank you, Chris. Any other reports for Steve this evening? Over. Alrighty, Steve, we'll give you a second to switch over to that modified vertical. We'll just kind of hang out and wait for you to get that fired up. And in the meantime, Matt, is when you head on up to southern Utah and go to Gunlock, any other locations you're gonna hit, or is that pretty much it? Over.
that is, if anyone's been to Vail, you've got to hit the pie shop. Those are the best Mormon pies you could ever get. They are tasty, and we've made a day trip up there to get a pie and bring it back home. So, but I want to find out if the Mexican restaurant is still opened up across the street from there. Done, I don't know, a few bike rides up that way. Usually it's the Mexican restaurant, and then across the street for dessert at the Vail Pie Shop, and then cruise on back home, taking whichever route is convenient, dirt or pavement. So that's probably one thing. This might be a little bit of site, or should say recon work, maybe even up to Pine Valley, another place that's fun to go camping. But and of course, with Donna, we might end up taking a quick trip into St. George so she can hit a quilt shop or two. But I'll have to fill you in on the results of that one after the trip. And by the way, Paul, I'm looking forward to getting a picture or two from you when you get back from all your travels. I want to see where all you go. So anyway, K7XMD, back to you, Paul, K7RKO.
K7XMD, K7RKO. Thank you, Matt. And thanks to everybody that's hanging out on Thunderbird Net this evening. Steve, KA7ISL, you got that vertical cooking over?
K7ISL, yeah, I'm on the vertical, and you're like 100 over 9 now. So definitely got a lot of static pickup tonight on the long wire over.
Alrighty, well, you're doing a nice job here into the shack with the modified vertical, good solid S7. I'll sit back and let everybody toss some signal reports out for you. Over.
Very good. Kilo Alpha 7 India Sierra Lima. Steve Barker, I'm on right about the Delta Mike 2526 border right up here by Railroad Pass. Over. Got you 100% copy, Steve. 100% copy on the vertical. On the other antenna, I couldn't copy you at all. So the vertical's working really, really well. This is KJ7BAQ. KJ7BAQ, roger that. Yeah, I've had that antenna up since before the first Gulf War. We did Falklands and Panama with it, Army Mars and Navy Mars, and I'm experimenting with it. I think I'm going to put a load on the end of it. It goes up about 70 feet in the air, vertical on the tower, and then shoots out across my yard about 150 feet. So, and it slopes to the ground. So, I'm just back to playing with stuff. Over. Well, it's working really, really well. Way better than the first antenna. Copy was solid, copy 100%. Turn it back to a next roll. KJ7PAQ.
KJ7PAQ, K7RKO. Thanks, Ron. Any other reports for KA7ISL? Come on in.
You are too. You're at least a 5'6" here at my house, and you sound a lot better. This is just an old Antron 99 that I did some modifications to, but I got it about 45 feet up in the air, and then I have different cuts of ground radials coming off of it. Primarily it was cut for 10 meters, and then I also cut it for 17. So it works really good at 18 megahertz and 25 megahertz for some military stuff. Over.
KA7ISL, K7RKO. Sounded real good, Steve. How many radios you got cut for that? Over.
I think I got 4 or 5, and they're different lengths. They're not real short. I think the shortest one's probably 30 feet, and the other ones are, give or take 50, 60 feet over.
Alrighty, well, sounding terrific. Well, there are no federal statutes that say we need to wrap this baby up at 8 o'clock, but we probably do want to be keeping an eye on the clock. So, any other signal reports for Steve? Please come on in. K7RAW, Rudy, K7RKO. Any reports for Steve this evening? Over.
I can just barely hear him. He's around S2, and I know he's speaking, but I'm having trouble just copying him really at all. So that's about it from here, Paul.
Alrighty, thank you, Rudy. Well, we still have, again, anybody want to toss anything in, have a contribution for the net tonight? Come on in. Alrighty, thank you, Joe, and on to the comment. Go ahead.
Roger, Paul. This is Matt, XMD. What have you been up to lately? I know you're usually burning up the airwaves, accumulating more contact than anyone else can think possible for parts on the air. But haven't heard much from you lately. It's like, what have you been up to? And, what kind of numbers are you up to on parts on the air? And I heard you were through the grapevine that you're kind of getting wound up on this DMR. Can you give us any kind of an update on that? And then, of course, any kind of heads up on what your schedule is, or I would say schedule, but the kind of places you're looking to go to there on your trip to Utah. Back to you, Paul.
Kilo 7 X-ray Mike Delta K7 XMD. Well, in no particular order, Matt, I was up at Spring Mountain Ranch for POTA activation this past week. Lousy band conditions, but managed to somehow dig out enough QSOs for an activation. Best I could do DX-wise was Mexico. What else can I tell you? Yeah, DMR. Yeah, I'm very smitten with DMR. And Al, K7OSW, has spent a whole bunch of time teaching me the ropes, for which I'm very appreciative of. Been hanging out on a DMR net, a Canadian DMR net on Saturday afternoons, which is pretty fun. Yesterday, it gave me a great excuse to get away from the UCLA football game, which was just breaking my heart. And this Utah trip, my bride and I are heading up on, gonna be spending Tuesday night and Wednesday night up in St. George, and I'm kind of poking around on the maps and looking at some places, and you know how that goes, how much fun it is looking at the maps and looking at Google Earth and plotting and scheming and figuring out where you want to be. So I'll be up there this week, and I'll take some pics and let you know where I've been. And that Gunlock Reservoir, Chris KC0NMZ mentioned to me was a pretty good spot to be. So I think that I'm going to be up there. And also been hanging out on HF here in the shack, working some, doing a little POTA hunting over the past week, which has been fun as well. So that's what I've been up to. K7XMD, this K7 RKO.
Roger that, Paul. Sounds fun as far as your trip goes there. I'm going to put you on the spot here because I keep hearing a lot of stuff about this DMR. What is it that you find so intriguing? And if you get wrapped up in DMR, are you taking all your HF stuff and throwing it in the trash and converting over to just DMR? What's the story on that stuff?
Well, that's a negative. You gotta dance with the girl that brung you. So no way that I'm losing my love for HF. I want to keep working on getting more contacts on individual bands, so I can see if I can rack up some more DXCC action, and want to continue hunting POTA, and want to continue activating POTA. The appeal of DMR is the ability to, sit down and have a QSO with somebody and actually talk to them and have terrific audio quality and just get to know people. And it's just a wonderful platform to use, and it's just a wonderful way to make some new friends. I was talking to a guy up in New Brunswick, Canada. Turns out this guy was retired well, not completely retired. He's Royal Canadian Mounted Police, working on cyber crime and other things. And just a fascinating guy. And we were able to have a fairly lengthy, detailed conversation on DMR. Under good conditions, we could certainly have that condition on HF, but on DMR it was just effortless. So I guess the appeal of that is getting to know people and getting to know a little bit more about what they do. So that's lowdown. That Kilo 7 X-ray Mike Delta is K7 RKO.
Roger that. Yeah, I understand that completely. Now, just being military, and we did a lot of camping when I was growing up, and anytime I contact someone that's like, especially an island out in the Pacific or Atlantic, I'm on Google Earth, taking a look at it, and then of course for me, I'm always looking at to see if there's an old airfield there left over from World War II. The intrigue of that just keeps me going something good there. But yeah, I love Google Earth. I use it to rerun trails, dirt roads, if I brought in the Jeep or on my bike. But it's always a good means to see what's going on. But like a lot of mediums nowadays, it's amazing how ham radio is, in a sense, making the world smaller, and it's fun to talk to people around the world. And it's a shame, I think, and maybe I'm going out on a limb here, when we hear all the stuff on the news media, newspapers, just day-to-day stuff on the TV, they make it sound like all the other countries hate us and the world is ready to blow up and go to you-know-where. But you talk to some of the people in these countries, and they're like, they're just the friendliest can be. And it's too bad we all can't just get around a campfire with a bottle of some nice whiskey and just have a grand old time and talk shop and talk stories about life that we'd probably enjoy knowing, and the politicians would be out of work. Wouldn't that be a nice thought? Anyway, enough of my babbling on. I'm going to send it back to you, Paul, for anyone else has anything to say. But enjoy your trip, Paul. This is K7XMD. Back to you, K7RKO.
K7XMD, K7RKO. Matt, I'm out on that limb with you, sipping on a little bit of whiskey. Not a bad thing at all. Well, we're kind of plowing into overtime here on the Thunderbird Net, and that's not a bad thing at all. Anybody else have anything this evening, and I'd like to contribute? Come on in. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I was just going to echo what Matt just said. I do the same thing. I'll get a contract with some place I've never heard of before. But a while back, a week or two ago, I had a contract. That one on Island. Never heard of it before. I looked it up, and it's some little island out in the middle of the South Atlantic. It's like 10 miles long and 5 miles wide. And I thought, well, that's really cool. Just a little island way out there, and got a contract with them. So, yeah, I agree. It's kind of fun to look up stuff. One time a contract in South America, I had this vision if I had some guy in a tent in the middle of the jungle. But I just went to see where his head is, and he's into some big huge city, and he's got a handset that you would die for. So it's always worth looking up, the contact that you made, and see where they're at, what does it look like there. So that's my 2 cents. J7, PAT, back to net control.
Love your 2 cents. I agree. Or I too go on to the QRZ pages of these guys, and sometimes it's absolutely stunning what kind of a setup they have. And we have no monopoly on sophistication here, do we? That's Kilo 7 Romeo Kilo Oscar hanging out on the Thunderbird Net this evening. Anybody else want to chime in? Come on in. Go ahead, Rudy.
Yeah, just a clarification, guys, on that X-ray. The previous version, the Victor 2, they second at 40 watts, and they found out that that was maybe just a little too aggressive, and they realized they were starting to blow out some of the finals. So they backed up the spec, same design, same parts, they just backup perspective, be a lot more conservative about it. But I should tell you that there's no sonic parts in this thing. It's all the most generic off-the-shelf parts that they can find, so that availability will be really great. We learned that from COVID. So just want to let everybody know that this looks like a very, very interesting design. Being based on Raspberry Pi with all of its capabilities, just riding on its shoulders. So anyway, just thought I'd mention that. Back to you, Paul.
Alrighty, Rudy, thank you very much. And once again, we can go to hfsignals.com, Hotel Foxtrot Signals.com, to find out about the SBITX rig, which sounds absolutely intriguing. Hanging out on the Thunderbird Net tonight. Anybody else have any comments? Please come on in.
By yourself.
Go ahead, Ron.
I went out online when you told me about that radio, and I found some YouTube videos on it, and they were showing the screen on the 7-inch touch screen. And I've got to say, it's amazing strength. They have a really, really good waterfall, and advanced scope waterfall, and for a little radio like that, it's absolutely amazing in all the things that it does. So to me, that's one of the big advantages, a really great screen to be able to look at and see all the data. This is KJ7PAQ, back to next control.
KJ7PAQ, K7RKO, yes sir. A wonderful reminder of the rapid fire advancements with technology and how quickly things are changing and the pace of innovation. It's all it's all a little tough to get our arms around sometimes, but wonderful to have these rigs out there. Thought I heard somebody else in there wanted to come on in. We're ready to listen to you. Over.
KA7SL with a comment about your Utah trip, over.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, we used to have property in Central. We just sold it. My mom passed away 2 years ago, so didn't really want to do it, but it's just up a little bit farther where you're going to go play on the water. There's also Baker Reservoir, and then you have Pine Valley Reservoir, and then you can go over to the other side on the flatlands, and there's a double lake over there. So there's quite a bunch of stuff. Also, the town of Vail has an old rock swimming pool they put in years ago. They also have a bakery that makes some of the best food in the world, over.
That's a Roger, Steve. KA7ISL, K7RKO. Steve, if I wind up in Vail, I'm going to go to that pie shop, and I don't know if I'm going to get anything else done. Over?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, they took an old hangar there and made it into a roller skating ring for the kids, and the pizza joint that's across the street's pretty good. And the gas station's got a bunch of stuff in its warehouse, over.
Alrighty. Well, sounds like a bunch of stuff to do there, but once again, I walk into that pie shop, I think I'm long gone. Over?
Oh, very good. Well, you know what I'm talking about then. KA7SL in the group.
Alrighty, Steve. Well, hey, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. Sure appreciate it. Kilo Alpha 7. India Sierra Lima, this Kilo 7, Romeo Kilo Oscar on the Thunderbird Net. Anybody else have anything you'd like to chime in with tonight? Come on in.
KJ7AMU.
KJ7AMU, go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Paul, I got a question for you. You're dabbing in EMR radio, and I'd like to get an opinion of what you think of the transmission quality as opposed to FM analog full quieting signal. Is it comparable, or what could you give us on that?
Well, I am the least capable guy to give you a credible answer on that because I've never messed with the other FM modes here and really couldn't tell you about the quality, but the reliability, just the consistency of the signals. You jump on DMR with somebody and it's just solid. No ups ups and downs like you're experiencing on HF, and just a different experience. Over.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your information. K7RKO, KJ7AMU.
It wasn't much information, but I'm just not qualified to give you a good answer on that, Mark. Over.
Back to net control.
Alrighty, KJ7AMU. This is K7RKO. Anybody else have anything for the Thunderbird Net this evening? Come on in. Alrighty, well, you know, with a little bit of effort, I think we could probably keep this thing going for another hour or so, but might as well knock it off, shut it down, and enjoy the rest of the evening. What a gorgeous night in the city. It's wonderful outside, so thank you very much for taking part tonight. Appreciate it. If there's anybody you think might like to join us next week, let them know. We'll be back here next Sunday on 28/4/20 at 7 o'clock. Thunderbird Net is now closed. Our timeout is 8:15 Pacific time. Frequency is returned to normal use. Good evening, everybody.
Thanks for the effort tonight. Fun yakking with you. 7-3.
Same here. Good job there, Paul. Nice net. To be 8 lights quite clear.
Yeah, great net tonight, Paul. Real good job. This is K7EAU. Clear. Well, thank you for those Nevada flowers, guys. You guys all have a terrific evening. K7RKO, we're clear.
That's all she wrote.